and I have a speaker card on that. So, Madam Sheriff, before you start, I'll ask Ms. Bassey to come forward.
Thank you. Before we talk about receiving the report from Sheriff Smith, I would like to talk about the fact that when I was raising my 3 boys in Gilroy, there was a horrendous gang crime in our local community, and there was a murder and there was a prosecution. And I remember that my children and I were very fearful, and that I didn't send my kids over to 10th Street, which was unfortunate because that was where the movie theater was. And then I grew up, and my kids grew up, and we moved to Los Gatos. And I learned that Stuart Scott, who was with the prosecutor's office, added some hyperbole to his closing statements, which constitutes prosecutorial misconduct. And he tried to get the person convicted based on making things up that the gang member had supposedly said. And Stuart Scott, this came out in a Supreme Court ruling, in California Supreme Court ruling, I believe. And nonetheless, Stuart Scott was elevated to our bench, and a month later he was harassing various people in the public defender's office and everything else, and he got a slap on the wrist from the CJP for that. But that's the culture that we have. And as Sheriff Smith, as you said in your documentary in Web of Lies, we're Silicon Valley, and things look a little bit different here. So I hope when you do your report, you're going to talk about the gang of lawyers and judges, vocational examiners, custody experts, and everyone else who have taken over our courthouse. On January 20th, I tried to go to a retirement party of Judge Grilly in the courthouse. And when I got onto the 8th floor, I was met by several deputies who told me that I would be arrested if I came. The lawyers went back and forth. My public records requests on this show that the lawyers never paid for the courthouse when I was locked out. The gang that is taking over our community is no further away than the local courts. And Wikipedia defines gangs as involved in crime activities, extortion, and they often have a lookout. And you need to look at the lawyers and what's going on in family courts.
Ms. Bassey, you need to stop in your time.
Thank you.